Well, good evening to those of you who joined us on time. We will wait a few more minutes for those who have not yet joined. We have a large group of people, so we'll give them a chance. So just another 2 or 3 more minutes, if that's okay with you. Okay, Michal, should we start?
Yes, I think we should.
Okay, so good evening to everyone. It's very nice to see you, to meet some of you for the first time. We are about to start part 2 of our LinkedIn webinar. I'd like to introduce Michal Merten, our career counselor, who will,
Hello, everyone.
she gave our first part, we'll give the second part. For those of you who did not attend the first part, Michal will give a short overview of that part, but we'll be mainly dealing with the second part of the LinkedIn profile. At first, we'd like everybody to stay muted. If you have questions, if you can please write them in the chat, and Michal will address them either as she goes along, or at the end, we'll see how things work out. So Michal, please.
Okay. So it's exciting to see everyone either for the first or the second or third time. As Yael mentioned, our first LinkedIn webinar referred just to the top part. I'm going to now address the experience, but we will have a very short recap of the first part. For those of you who are interested, we do have a recording of, I'd say 90% of that first session, and yeah, we'll be happy to send you the link. It's on YouTube. Okay, I will just 1 second, sorry. I will stop my video because that just takes too many resources away. Okay. So Our goal, basically, when we write our profile, is to receive the all-star. Now, we'll show you in a second everything that I'm talking about. I will show you hands-on on my LinkedIn profile, and I'll give you some examples from other LinkedIn profiles that I've written, so that you understand exactly what I'm talking about. So last time we spoke about the headline and how to create your own brand and how to write your elevator pitch. And we discussed the photo and the background image that we want to use to increase your brand. So as I said, this time we're going to speak about how to write an effective job experience, what to include under education, languages, courses, and so forth. And one of the most important ways to be noticed and found by recruiters is having a really good list of skills. So just to recap, these are what I call the 7 principles to a great profile. And in fact, those are 7 principles that can help you write your resume, prepare for your job interview. Just think about telling your very own story, make it compelling, target your audience. Are you now targeting only recruiters, professionals? Do you want to create your brand more than you want to just find a job? Do you want to do both? Just choose 3 focus messages. Sometimes when we write, we tend to forget what it is we actually want to talk about. So if I have 3 main skills, I can use those as my 3 focus messages and just enhance everything about them and repeat them as we go along. Less is more. If you can write anything in 4 words or 3 sentences instead of 20 words and 15 sentences, do that. I'd like to remind you that we are in the age of Twitter and Facebook and people don't read. So we want to keep it short, exciting, surprising, different. And of course, don't forget your visuals. If you can add a nice photo or the logo of the company or anything to enhance that brand of yours, use the visuals that you can. And remember to unify your message, your style, no typos whatsoever, and so forth. So those are the 7 principles for a great profile. Use a top picture. I said that on average, a user with a photo gets 14 more views than any other type of profile. We discussed the background image, and here you have the dimensions and what you should use or can use. How to write a great headline. And again, I remind you never to use actively seeking positions. That is not something that recruiters look for. But I will show you now in these crazy pandemic times, LinkedIn actually has come with a possibility for you to show that you're actively looking for a job. And I encourage you to do that, to use that. I'll show you how. Writing a winning summary, we discussed that at length. Being authentic, and again, that is applicable to writing your experience, being authentic about why you enjoy doing what you do, showcasing your expertise, and being personal. Because while on a CV, you need to keep it very, very, very short, here on LinkedIn, people will actually read. So making yourself likable and interesting is a great way to increase your chances of getting that phone call that you want. And call to action, again, not just to connect, but to share your story. So now we want to talk about how to write your work experience. So one thing that you can do is, going to stop and share again. One of the things that you can do is you can take your resume, and this is from an actual resume that I wrote, and you can edit it. You can take out the bullets, as I did here. Okay. try not to use a bullet on LinkedIn. It doesn't really look well. You have to find bullets that are accepted into the LinkedIn mask. It's kind of complicated. And while I do like that on the headline because it makes it pop out, on your experience, it very often just looks awkward. So I'd rather you just take out the bullets. And then see how here I said in charge of local purchasing, initial buying, and so forth. Here I make it personal. In this role, I was in charge of local purchasing, the initial buying, and so forth. So I add all those little words that we have omitted on the resume because it's so, you know, telegraphic and telegram style. And I create from this a little story. I'm going back to the presentation. So here are 12 tips for describing your job experience. So number one, when you add a new job experience or you edit it, link it to the company you worked for. Going back online. And see here, under my work experience, for instance, in this case, I have Telfed, right? So if I choose the correct company, the logo will appear. I took out this one and I started writing BSP. That was the company I worked for. In fact, it's called BSP Medical. So I can now choose that name and add full-time employment. And I add the start and end date. By the way, you don't necessarily have to include the month. It's okay to just, you know, have the year. I can take that out if I wanted. Okay. And just leave it that way. And I can save it. And here I put the job description. And I can actually upload any type of media. I can add, if I wanted to, I could add the link to the website. I could upload a presentation that I did there or some photos of the product that I developed or anything, again, that will enhance that brand. And then I save, and now I have the logo. And some companies actually will recruit people who have experience from specific companies. So having the logo on your work experience here is a really good thing to have. What I then do is I start with 2 or 3 sentences that give a background to what I did in that position. Okay, in this case, you know, talk about focused meetings and conference calls. At Telfed, I was something of a jack of all trades. It gives you a personal touch and it gives an introduction to what you did there in just an interesting way. So if you were a manager, you can start about saying what you manage and who you managed. Was it a budget? Was it people? How many people? And so forth. I encourage you to use action words. Instead of saying responsible for or duties included, try using action words like managed, led, grew, reduced. Okay, it's much more powerful. And also remember that, like in the resume, keywords are really key, because recruiters will search for you using those keywords. So in my case, you know, it will be coaching and counseling and resumes and interviews. So think what are your industry specific keywords and just use them to describe your role in that company. Again, keep it clear and concise. Use the correct tenses, checks for spelling and grammar. One thing that always lets people down is poor spelling. Just remember, I'm just going to tell you about a survey that that says over 83% of recruiters cited typos and misspellings as the #1 pet peeve, followed closely by poor grammar. So you don't want them to, not look at your experience or your resume because of that. Okay. Front load your achievements. One of the things that you want to do is talk about what you achieved in that specific position. So instead of saying, say, I was promoted to my current position where I excelled in sales, increasing them by 12% in the first year. It's a great sentence, it is. But if you start by, I increased sales by 12% in the first year following my promotion, it's shorter and it's more exciting, and it starts with the actual achievement. Another thing you can do is ask for recommendations. I will show you in a second how to do that. So if you can, for each position that you held, ask for a recommendation. It really goes a long way. People actually read them. They're like references. And one last thing, again, LinkedIn allows you to upload images. So if you can, like in here, you can either put them in the body of your experience, or going back up here, add profile section, and under featured, I can add posts, articles, links, media, or anything I want. Any questions this far? Do you want to type any questions into the chat? I'll be happy to answer questions about writing your experience. Okay. So we have our experience in place here. Same as for your resume. Don't go beyond 15, 20 years unless you're a physician, a psychologist, or one of those professions where 20 or 30 years experience really go a long way. Unfortunately, Israeli society is a bit ageist as far as your work experience is concerned. They don't want to make yourself to be older than necessary, especially if you're in a technological field. So the next thing I'd like to address is education. Okay, hold on, we do have someone in the chat. Where would you recommend we add your reference letters? Okay, so reference letters are something that I wouldn't necessarily add here. What you can do is ask for a recommendation. You click on that, and you can type the name of the person. So, I'm sorry, not in Hebrew. Okay, so, or I can ask for Yael's recommendation. Here we go. I'll click on that and the position. Okay, and hopefully Yael will write me a recommendation. Reference letters in general are considered very old-fashioned. You can add them, under the specific job experience, unless you really feel strongly about it. I wouldn't necessarily do that. It's not considered good form. Okay.
There's one more question in the chat, if you want to.
Okay. If you have no experience in your new career, what do you do? We all have at least 10 years experience. I venture to say. I think most of us have at least 10 years experience, and I'm sure you can find skills and experiences that you can take into the new positions that you have and just enhance those. always remember, whether it's your LinkedIn profile or your resume, this is not your professional biography. It's a marketing tool. It's your brand. So you can brand yourself any way you want. If you were a lawyer and now you want to go into training, then just talk about everything that you did in organizational training, and bring forward that part and just fade into the background everything that is less relevant to what you want to do. I can show you, this is the profile that I've recently completed for a young girl of 21. Okay, so she has basically very, very little experience. She is a student. She does have some limited experience. She added, by the way, her resume is in Hebrew and English into here, so that's something that you can do. She had a short experience in a law firm, and the rest of the experience from the IDF, from a military service, and that's what we used. And we just, focused on those skills that she wants to enhance because she wanted to find a job in candidate assessment and as an administrator. So it's really about twisting it a little bit. And by the way, what a wonderful background image that she chose to show that she's all about people. So education, one of the things that we tend to do is not really write very much other than our academic degree or the course's name. One of the things that you can do is add a description. If you had a really exciting thesis or did a really interesting research in your studies, just add to that, add that description in your education, because it's another way, those are again keywords that might be searched for, and it makes your profile more interesting. You can add licenses and certifications. If you are not sure where to find a specific section, you can always go here to add profile section and you can find it. So you can add education from here. You can add licenses, certifications, volunteer experience. Okay, it's a really easy way to find that. The only drawback on LinkedIn is it always, when you're done, it brings you back to the top, which is, it's a bit of a drag, but what can you do? That's LinkedIn for you. So again, questions this far? Okay. So I'm going to go back to my presentation, and I would like to talk about skills. The recruiters are constantly searching LinkedIn for people like you. And whether you maybe didn't use all the skills that you want to showcase in your actual experience, and this relates back to your question, Yael, you can always add those skills that you want to be discovered for in your skills. You have a list of 50 skills to help you be discovered. Okay, so this is important. You want to list as many skills as possible, namely at least 20, preferably 50. But you also want to list the right skills. So what are skills, the right skills? Okay, so this is very important. So I found this little infogram that talks about the top 6 skills to include in your LinkedIn profile. And this is based on a large-scale survey that LinkedIn conducted recently.
Michal, did you intend to share your screen?
Oops, It's not shared. Okay, gotcha. Yes, I meant to. Why is it not shared? Okay, thank you. Okay. So I'm going back. So the importance of LinkedIn, so with 5 or more skills, just 5, people are contacted or messaged or, you know, otherwise up to 33 times more of a recruiter than other LinkedIn members. And you receive up to 17 times more profile views. So skills, you know, I really cannot stress enough how important skills are. So this is those 6 skills to include. So I think most of us do have some sort of analytical skills. Either you're good at problem solving or research or critical thinking or learning. Think which analytical skills you master. Business can be anything: management, admin, business storytelling. Storytelling is a big buzzword in the world nowadays. Business analysis is both business and analytical skills, obviously, so you have a double here. Anything to do with marketing, even if you do, you know, if you're an admin assistant, in many cases you might be asked to do some media planning or posting on social media, so anything like that is a great asset. Anything to do with communications, everything is done online nowadays, especially now that most of us work from home. Management, coaching, leadership, negotiation, and anything to do with IT, whether it's presentations, Outlook, you know, any computer skills at all. So remember to put all of these in, and I'll show you in a second what a good way is to find all the possible skills that are relevant to your profile. So remember, you can reorder your skills in order of importance. Again, I'll show you that in just one second. So again, the skills companies need most in 2020. So these are the 5 top soft skills: creativity, persuasion, collaboration, adaptability, and emotional intelligence. The soft skills can be time management, networking, anything to do with other people. And they differ a little bit from our hard skills. Hard skills are those that are, you know, if I were in IT, then it would be, or programming, those are hard skills, everything to do with our profession. Okay, I'd like to go back to LinkedIn and show you how to do that. Okay, so here I have my skills and endorsements. What LinkedIn does is it will take the skills that you endorsed for the most and just put them at the top of your list. By clicking on that pencil, the editing pencil, I can decide which 3 top skills I want to have at the top. Okay, so I can unpin them and I can decide I want these 3, and then I can drag them into the correct order that I want. Okay, so these 3 are very important because sometimes if no one opens your LinkedIn profile, or if they download it as a resume or as a PDF, they will see nothing but these 3 skills. So I urge you to think carefully and really give it a lot of thought, which 3 skills you want people to see. The other skills, you see, these are very hard skills. Industry knowledge. Those are divided into categories by LinkedIn itself. You don't really have a way of moving them between the groups, but again, you can move them within the category. I could just take here and drag it. Okay, and if there's something that I don't want training, or I don't want leadership development, so I'm just trashing it. I click on the trash can and away it goes. Okay, it will add languages here. So you can add languages here, or again through the profile section and other skills. Okay, I will discard my changes because I have. Okay, and what you can do is add a new skill. So actually, I do have 48 skills listed right now. And what LinkedIn will do is, based on your profile, it will suggest skills. As it says, suggested skills based off your profile. So you first want to complete your profile and then add your skills. And there are two ways I can do this. So one is I can just add from this list. And the other way is I can start typing in, say, human resources, and then I can see which skills are listed here and use one of those. So I can put this in, and then I'll click on add, and those two have been added to my list of skills, and then I'll go back in as we did before and organize it. I'll look for them and I'll decide where I want them. The skill quiz is for technical skills. It's very, very IT oriented. So if you do have any technical skills like this, then you might want to take that skill and the result will be posted on your profile. Otherwise, there's no need for it. Okay, questions about skills?
I have a question, Michal.
Yes.
It's Nikki.
Hi, Nikki.
Hi. Thank you for your information. It's very informative up to now. What you were just saying about the quiz, are the results posted regardless, or if you get a good result, you can choose to post that, and if it's not so good, then
you can decide. Yeah, you can decide if you. You can decide if you want to post it or not.
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure. Okay, so you saw that under skills, it included languages, but it also, for some odd reason, includes it under accomplishments. So you can decide where you want to add them. It doesn't really matter. And now that we have everything in place, LinkedIn will rank you an all-star. And by being an all-star, this means that your profile is complete and you have increased your chances of being found by recruiters and other LinkedIn members by close to 20 times. So the more complete your profile, the better your chances of being discovered. So that's really important that that you do that. So going back up here, as I mentioned before, you can add a profile section. So one of the ways to make sure that you haven't missed anything is going up here, and it will let you know if there's anything that you've missed out. So my intro is in, my about is looking good. I have featured posts and articles. I have my background. Okay, so I have additional information. I can request a recommendation from here. I can add publications, patterns, projects, anything you want, you can add skills from here. So that's another way. You can either go to the actual section or do it from here. Now there's more. So this is more. Say someone says, I have a job for you, send me your resume. So you can send your profile via message. Okay, so again, Yael, I'm going to send you all sorts of things today. Okay, so I can send this to Yael. Okay, and if I press enter, Yael has now received, hopefully. Okay, okay, and I'm sending it to Yael, and Yael has now received my profile. You can also save to PDF, which is something that I encourage you to do, because let me show you how the profile looks. Okay, oops. Okay, so I've actually downloaded my profile for you in preparation of today. And this is, if anyone downloads your profile, this is what it will look like. Okay, so notice that I actually have my contact information here. It's up to you, you don't have to, but it's a good way, you know, if you're sending this as a resume or just making sure that the person who downloaded your profile has your contact information.
It has my looking at your profile, looking at something else.
Oh, okay. Now?
Yes.
Okay, brilliant. Sorry about that. Okay, so again, my contact information is top left. Then my LinkedIn profile, my URL. I actually included my the link to my website. And then see, these are the top 3 skills. So again, these are the only 3 skills anyone will see if they downloaded your profile. Languages, certifications, and then here you have the summary, the experience, okay, and everything else, education. That's what they're going to get. So once your profile is complete, you know, really do that and see what it looks like for other people. And see if you maybe want to actually reduce it. As I downloaded, I thought, this is a bit long, so maybe I should reduce it. Okay, see if we have a question. Where is that? Okay, I'll show you again where you can download it. So I'm going back to my profile here. Okay, at the very top, next to Add Profile section, we have More. I click on that, and you can save your profile to PDF. And once you've done that, you can actually use that as your resume, or, and this is a very, very new feature that LinkedIn recently introduced, is build a resume. So I can build a resume based on my LinkedIn profile. I'll click on your resume, and it will, okay, so that's what it does. It's a nice way to use that. Again, I did show it last time, but I want to show this again. You can edit your public profile and URL by clicking up here, edit public profile and URL. It opens a new tab, and you can see, first of all, again, what it looks like to other people looking at your LinkedIn profile. And you can personalize your URL. You click on this little editing pencil, and you know how very often the your LinkedIn URL has a lot of numbers and characters, so you can edit it to something that is easy to remember, and then you save, and it will tell you if that is possible or not. Okay. So the top up here, you have many, many resources here. Once you start using LinkedIn, you have your home feed here. This is a little bit like Facebook, your feed, everything and anyone you're following, groups, people, news will appear here. You can start a post here. You can look at the people in your network and if anyone has sent you an invitation to connect. And very important, you can look for a job. Okay. So one of the things that I said I'd show you is LinkedIn has added this part. Has your job been impacted by COVID-19? Your network can help. And you can do that. You click on Get Started. Okay. You add your job preferences. Okay. And sorry, this is okay. And you can decide who to share it with. If you share with all LinkedIn members, it will add that little frame. Okay, it adds the open to work photo frame. I'll add that for a second so you can see. And then you can notify your network. Okay, so you see this, it's added that little thing there, open for work. And you can then address your the network and say, you know, I'm looking for a job. How can you help me? Going back on that. Okay.
There's a question in the chat.
What is the difference of a post or an article? Same reach? Yes, in both cases, it reaches your network. A post is usually shorter than an article. It's really just about the difference is mainly in the length. Okay, going back to jobs. So you can search for a job from home and, you know, just add here, say, I want a job as an admin assistant. That's one way. And then you can filter by date and experience level, and you can, you know, look for specific companies and the type of job, and if you want it to be remote or not. And then LinkedIn features, easy apply means that it will send them your LinkedIn profile. Those are companies that allow for that. Or if you want a job that has under 10 applicants, you don't want that many people to have already applied. If you want the assistance of your network, you want to limit that to jobs within your network. Or if you want a fair chance employer, those are usually for people with any type of handicap. And you know, just you can apply any job filter. Another way to do that is, instead of a general search, I'm going back into this little briefcase with a job. And this allows you to look at any jobs that you have saved. So if I went into Office Manager and I saved it, because I can't apply right now, then I'll find it under my saved jobs. Going back here. Okay, so these will be my my saved jobs, and you see again easy apply. So if I click on here, it will just send them my LinkedIn profile. Back. Then I can see which jobs I applied to. I can create job alerts. Okay, I can edit my job alerts with with the title that I want. Do I want daily or weekly? Do I want just by email or just by notification? And I can ask for job recommendations from LinkedIn, which means that I will actually receive mails from LinkedIn on a regular basis. Salary, unfortunately, is something that does not work for Israel yet. Hopefully, they will have salary service at one point or another. And this, again, is a very nice new feature. It helps you prepare for your interview. That has common questions. You can see for the time being, they only have finance and sales, but they do have some categories. But the common questions are actually quite good. And people have volunteered to give some answers, so you can watch a little video and see what their suggestions were. So this is a nice little new thing that they have. And again, you have a resume builder. You can either use it from here or from there. Now, LinkedIn will also suggest jobs for you based on your profile. So again, it is so important that your LinkedIn profile is really complete. The more complete it is, the better use you can make of it. You can message other people on LinkedIn, and you get notifications on people's birthdays on one hand, but also on interesting posts. So that's a nice feature. Last but not least, by clicking on the me icon, you can go to settings and privacy, and you can decide how others see your profile and your network information. You can change that anytime. Sometimes if we are employed, we don't necessarily want others to see that we've viewed their profile, or if we are preparing for an interview and want to know more about the person that is going to interview us, we do some research. So again, we don't always want them to know that we went into the profile. So you can choose your profile visibility on LinkedIn and how others see your LinkedIn activity. Take into consideration that if you are invisible when going into other people's profiles, they will also be invisible to you. You will know that someone viewed your profile, but you will not know who. So it's a bit of a quid pro quo there. But this is something that is very, very useful to just, go through it and see exactly. And you can always view your profile that way. It allows you to see at any point the changes that you make. Okay, one more thing here under work. We have learning. LinkedIn has really some great resources. Again, based on your profile, it will suggest some short courses that you can take. For instance, Rock Your LinkedIn Profile is really well made. The 6 Morning Habits of High Performance, just go through it. You can see what's trending. And just see if there's anything that you can use to just, enhance and increase your knowledge on LinkedIn. So we have a few more minutes to get you started. A very important feature of LinkedIn is, let me just take away that. Sorry. Going back to my profile, I want to show you a very important feature of LinkedIn, and that is for your job search. You can use this section of interest, and it's divided into 4 sections. The first one is influencers. It's interesting to follow people who are influencers on LinkedIn. Sometimes they post really interesting research or talks. You think who could be an inspiration to you, and you can follow them. Another way to find a job is to follow companies. If you can think of 10 companies that you would really like to work for, and you start following them. By following them, sorry, that's not what I meant to do. I want to go to the page. So by following that company, you can see what they are doing, and you can see all the jobs in one place. Okay, so you can see all the recently posted jobs. You can search within those jobs. It's a great way to find a job in a specific company. And another important thing are groups. Groups are groups of professionals. And people here, if we take, say, the non-profit network, people share information, people share professional information, they ask each other for advice. It's a great way to keep yourself in the loop or to get into a new industry if you're changing into a new industry or new type of role. It's a great way to find jobs in that, in your profession or the new profession. It's a great way to ask for assistance. Say, you know, I'm transitioning into this new industry, and I wonder if you have any ideas for me or any tips. If you do, you know, if you do that, I would suggest that, you know, ask for help in finding a job just once. You don't want to appear too desperate. But if you're active on those groups, you like an article, you share an article, maybe write a little something if you have a great idea, or you would like some advice on a professional level, and then do that in a group rather than on your home feed. I find that to be very, very much more effective than, you know, in just a general way. You can do both, but certainly use groups as a way to brand yourself as a professional. If you're not sure about which groups to join, again, you can create just a general search. You know, say, okay, administrative, and I'll go to groups. Okay, administration in groups. Okay. So I can choose groups from this list. I usually like to choose a group that has at least, you know, 10, 15, preferably more than 20,000 members. That would mean that there's activity in that group, and that it really is a professional group, say sales administration. I can see what the group is about. I can see how long it's been listed. I can see who the admins are. If there are any people that I know on the group, that will also be important for me as a decision. And you can always go to other people's groups and see, you know, go to my groups and see, are there any groups that I would like to join that, you know, you can search within here. So it can be within your industry, or it can be just in general. See, for instance, this is a recruiter, so maybe I can join that group and see which group post, which job posting she has. It's a great way, again, by being active on those groups, to brand yourself as a professional and find jobs, besides just, you know, looking for jobs either through here in the search mask or in the job mask. Okay, last 5 minutes. Any questions on how to get started on writing your experience and your skills?
Michal, hi, it's Nikki again.
Oh,
Sorry, I've interrupted. I was just wondering if it's possible to maybe summarize from the 2 sessions what you would say are the possibly 3 or 4 worst mistakes that one could make on LinkedIn. I'm guessing that grammatical errors and spelling errors is one of them. Are there other things which are glaringly unprofessional or unacceptable in terms of recruiters?
Not really. You just have to think polished. You want a profile that, you know, screams, I'm a professional. It's okay to add volunteer experience, especially if it's relevant. I wouldn't, you know, or you can add, you write a little bit about your hobbies if you think it rounds your profile. But other than that, there's no really big no-no. And by the way, one of the things that you can also use groups for is by joining a group, you can actually correspond and connect with anyone on that group. So if I would think of LinkedIn best practices, if you are connecting with someone, with recruiters or other professionals for whatever reason, just keep it very, very short. Don't start writing, you know, long messages. That's a bit of a no-no. And keep it short to the point. Try to list at least 2 points where you have something in common. That would be something that I would encourage you to do. Like, I saw that you are in the same group with me, and I know we met, I don't know, wherever. You know, just find that little bit of a connection. So,
Can I ask?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. You go ahead and finish.
No, that's okay. That was basically what I wanted to say.
I was just wanting to reference your comment about ageism in Israel. So, do you have a recommendation about photographs of yourself on do we put 20 years younger, or do we put no photograph, or do we find some sort of innocuous one? Do you have any recommendations on that topic? Okay,
so this is something that we actually discussed at length in the previous session, but I will say this: you do want a photograph where people, you know, I've walked into a room so many times and people say, I recognize you from your LinkedIn profile photo. So it's important. People feel a connection immediately when they recognize you from your photograph. So I wouldn't put something that is, you know, you 20 years ago and looks nothing like what you look today. A good way to not appear, you just want to have a very good photo. So if you can have one taken professionally, or just, you know, good lighting, where you just look good. You know, we all want to look good. That's what I would suggest you do. Even if you take one with your cell phone, you know, have someone else take it. A good background, good lighting. Sorry about that. It's my dog.
We have to watch out. My waffle will start barking back. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Okay, anyone else?
Monica, did you want to ask something?
yes. Hi. I wanted to ask about education. Do we have to put everything that we studied, even if for example, postgraduate courses, even if they are not relevant to the positions we are looking for or we developed afterwards? No.
Okay. On LinkedIn, like on your CV, it's not your biography. It's not. You don't have to list everything you ever did. You don't have to list everything you ever studied. It's your brand, it's your marketing tool. So feel free to edit. In fact, I encourage you to edit. Okay? Include those things that will get you where you want. That's our aim.
My question is, though, for example, I have a BA, which in Israel is considered an MA because I started in South America and I studied for 6 years. I never know if, and here I got a certification that says that I have an MA. So that's what I should write, even if in my diploma from somewhere else write BA.
Yes.
That's okay. Good. That's what I do.
Yes.
And the second question.
And if you're sorry, if you're asked to submit your
title, my degree.
Your certificates, then what I would do, I would put both of them together.
Yes.
You know, the recognition of your master's with the PA from your university.
Okay. And wouldn't it look empty if I don't write any postgraduate courses that I did? Wouldn't I look like not learned enough? I don't know how to say it. Like I didn't do anything after my professional degree?
Not everyone goes on to, you know, taking courses every year.
Okay, no, because in Israel, everybody, my first degree, my second degree, my third degree, my postgraduate degree, I don't know. It's something people give a lot of importance to. So
it's true, but you know, this is me. You know,
Good.
so be proud, and yeah, you're fine. No worries.
Thank you.
I wouldn't worry about that. Okay. So thank you, everyone. I hope you found it interesting, and feel free to send us a link to your LinkedIn profile if you want us to have a look and give you some feedback. And hopefully see you at our next session, where we discuss how to use social media as part of your job strategy.
Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone. Have a great evening.
Good evening.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.